G'day guys. Anyone here at the moment, or I'm a bit too early? There's a couple of people here. I might just give it a couple more minutes, guys, and we'll see if a few more people come on in. We'll have a chat about some stuff. I've got a few things I want to go through with you guys and show you what I've been up to, and a couple of little changes that I'm doing around here, and let you know what's going on. Where are you guys from? No one there. I think I'm a little bit early yet. It's a pretty bloody warm day where I am here. We're in the middle of summer here, so it's today's about 36, which is about 95 to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. This summer we've been pretty lucky. It's been not too many days like this so far. Normally we get runs of 10 or so days of really hot days. We'll get into this, guys, and people who aren't watching now, they can just catch up later. This is a 5-minute Fridays. I'm not going to do this all the time. It was more or less a couple of things because I've been working a lot harder on a particular device that I've just got. Shooting a lot of video for that, and make sure you're around on Monday because there will be the first one of those videos. You'll see them then. We got from Georgia in the US. What time is it in Georgia? Luke Martin. Here it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday. I do these on Saturdays. I launch my 5-minute Fridays on Saturdays because most of the guys watch from the States. So I generally launch my 5-minute Fridays on the Saturday, so you guys see it on the Friday. 10 p.m. Friday, sweet as. So what I want to talk to you briefly about here, this won't go for that long, guys. I'm just going to fill you in on what I'm up to. So the biggest announcement, which I'm actually not going to announce, is I got something in the mail the other day, and I've been testing it, and it's bloody amazing. I've been an Apple user, an iPhone user for ages, since the iPhone 3, I think it was. The rounded thing that was, well, really old, but it was like the first of the iPhones, if you like, that I used. I went away from that for one phone, maybe 4 years ago. I got a Samsung Galaxy S5, I think it was, and I think I kept that phone for about 6 months before I got sick of it. I just couldn't get my head around the whole Samsung Android space because I'm a Mac person. I do photography, web design, all that sort of stuff, and I live in a Mac environment. So iPads, Apple TV, iMac, obviously, and MacBooks. So bringing something from the dark side into the Mac side was a bit of a pain. But what this thing can do, I may change. You may have seen, I don't know if you can see it on the live or not, but you may see on other videos that I've got going on now, there's a merch shelf. So there's merchandise there that you guys can buy. The samples that I've got coming to me to show you, they're not here yet because I guess they come from the States. So in this day and age, it's probably a week away, I guess. So once I've got them, I'll show you, but you can see them down on the merch shelf on all of my other videos. There's some hats. No, I'm getting the hats made here. But there's some stickers, some shirts, coffee cups, that sort of thing with bloody legends written all over it. I don't earn a lot of money from that, but basically just that little bit of dollars helps me keep doing this and buying this sort of stuff. So to show you guys what it can do in such low light environment that we use here, or that we have here. So there's a merch shelf there. Any support you do, guys, I really appreciate. I'll keep looking over here. That's because that's where I shoot most of the stuff. The videos that I shoot behind the desk with the white wall behind me. That's right there, and that's not going to be looking like that it doesn't look like that now. You guys haven't seen that yet, but you will on Monday. The first video that I shot with this new setup is coming on Monday. So the new setup, with a new device, and it's going to be pretty cool. Love the channel. Sorry, guys, just reading this. Cool. The sort of comments that I see from you guys, it's pretty much the main reason I keep doing this. And I'm also making money from it now, so that's great. I've always taught iPhone photography. I have for a long time, and to be able to do this on YouTube and you guys from all over the world go out and do what I'm showing you how to do, it's pretty cool. When I see people like giving you the feedback, going, you know, it's making a big difference. I can do this sort of photos, and I'm really enjoying it. Thank you. For me, that's awesome. So we've got a little bit of a new studio set up here, and you'll see that on Monday, like I say. I'm pretty happy with how that looks. I put a question out in a video that I did probably 2 or 3 months ago, talking about the backdrop, if you like, for the studio setup that I've got going on there. Basically, where I run through the theory stuff before I go out into the field, if you like, and shoot the tutorials. So it looks a bit different now. I'm quite happy with how it looks, but I'll be interested to see what you guys think of it when we get there. Really, what I was going to do here was just explain those two things and go through the most regularly asked questions that you guys ask me, whether that's on the video comment section, whether it's on emails, because I get a lot of emails from you guys, Instagram messages. Don't know why, but Instagram messages, that seems to be the main way that you guys get in touch with me. So anyway, that's where you show me photos, that's where you ask for advice and that sort of stuff. So anyway, I'll run through some of these things and answer them, and people can look at this later on. Is the Outback is this the Outback? I'm going to say yes. Where I live is technically the Outback, I guess. The Outback, I think, over the years, as the urban sprawl from the capital cities got further and further away, the Outback got further away and smaller. But where I am here, I can drive maybe half an hour north, and I'll be in what you would probably refer to as desert. But it's pretty barren. Once about half an hour to an hour north of where I am here, it's pretty barren. It's as far outback. It's what you guys would probably consider to be outback. And the nearest town that I have with over 2,000 people, so where I live, there's roughly 2,500 people. That's in a pretty big area, though. So it's mostly farms around here. But the biggest town is about 60 k's away, and that's why we've got virtually no light pollution. Some of the videos I've got coming up with this new thing, we go away even further from these lights, and it's even darker skies, and it's it's pretty amazing what this thing can do. So it's not technically the outback where I live. You could say it is. If it was 5 years ago, you'd say, yeah, you live in the outback. Just the population is moving closer and closer to where we are, I guess. First question I get asked mostly about these and about those hats. I wear hats mainly because it's got that going on, and outside it's bloody hot. I don't wear these all the time outside. It's just I used to play baseball when I was a young fella, and I don't play anymore. There's no one around here would even know mostly what baseball is. But I used to play when I was a young fella, and the hats just kind of stayed with me. I've always just worn baseball caps ever since then, really. When I work during the day, I don't wear this sort of thing. I wear like a broad brim sort of hat to keep the sun off me, because it's you burn pretty quickly out here. It's pretty bloody hot. So the hats kind of just stayed. And when I started this channel, because most of the guys that watch this are from America, most of you, I just kept on changing baseball caps. So there's some baseball teams on the hats. Some are not. Some are just branded hats. So I just wear them because it's kind of the way that I am. It also helps me do what's called batch recording. So I don't know if any of you guys are actually in the YouTube space making your own videos, but I can go out and record a few videos at once, and you guys don't necessarily know that. It's just a way that I can save my time. And basically, I'll just you'll see me wearing my logo on my shirt, and I'll go out there and I'll wear, what am I wearing? The Cardinals hat today, but I'll wear that and I'll quickly shoot a video. Then I'll get rid of that and put a Red Sox hat on and shoot another video, and so you get the idea. But it lets me shoot a heap of video all at once over the weekend, and during the week I'll edit that up over time. Another Aussie. What? Where are you from, man? Real camera. I've got this one. Thanks, dude. Look, I've been shooting astrophotography for a bloody long time, and to be able to go out and do it with just my phone rather than take 5D tripods, lights, all that stuff with me out there, shutter release cables and all that sort of business, and take it out there. It's so good just to be able to just take a phone and put it on a little tripod and you're done. I don't need to take camera bags, don't take anything. I do for the YouTube stuff because oddly enough, that's what so I kind of get away from taking all the stuff with phones, but I've still got to take all this shit with me to record videos. So Melbourne, yeah, right. You're not far from me, or not far. You're like 3 hours, I suppose. Oh, way down there. Yeah, nice. That's a good bit of the world down there. I go down there. I used to go down there a bit on my bike. This last 12 months, I haven't. Just don't want to get locked down there. So that's the story with the hats. The next most common question I get asked is, what phone do I use day to day? Because this is all the work that I'm doing on this channel here. Everything that I'm putting on there, as far as the phones that I bring to show you how to do things, they all come out of my pocket. I pay for them myself, so you got to work out a way to make money, I guess, to pay for all of that. But when it comes to the phone that I use day to day, it's the iPhone 12 Pro Max. It's the first Max phone that I've had, and what I do day to day, and I'll talk about that in a second because that's the next most common question I get asked. But I run with I've had iPhones forever, like I said before, and I ran with the Pixel for a while, for probably 6 weeks, 8 weeks, as in my day-to-day sort of phone. Now, the way that I use my phones is obviously I take a lot of photos with my phones. I shoot a lot of video on my phone, so I'll do things like the YouTube shorts that I do. They're those 60-second videos that I do just to fill in the day, fill in the week between other videos. So I do a lot of that with my phone. I don't play games or anything on my phone. I use the internet. I use social media, and take photos and edit photos, and that's it. Obviously, I make phone calls, but that's it. So when it came to the main thing that I do during the day, though, is because of what I do 3 or 4 days a week, is usually on my own. So almost every one of those days, you'll see me doing something, and I've got headphones in, listening to audiobooks or podcasts or things like that. So that was probably the most important thing to me after the camera and the phone. But what I found with the Pixel was that it just didn't work flawlessly with my audiobooks and things like that. It didn't work with the Bluetooth headsets that I use, which is it's a Bose wireless Bluetooth headset. It just didn't work the way that I like it to work. It wasn't flawless, and that sort of thing becomes a problem, and I just don't use it as a regular phone now. Whereas everything, I always tell people with Apple devices, get an Apple device because it just works. Because 3 or 4 years ago, you could say that, put your hand on your heart and say it'll work. I reckon the Q&A has kind of lacked a little bit in the last couple of years, but generally speaking, it's pretty good. So my day-to-day phone is the 12 Pro Max, and that may not be that way for much longer. But I'll tell you more about that next week. The one that I'm testing at the moment, that may be my new phone. What do I do day to day? So I'm a photographer. I shoot weddings. I shoot corporate work, as in flyers, like photos for flyers and websites and things like that. I do web design. So I'm very remote where we live here. So my background, after the army, I went to work in the IT industry, in the print industry. So I was working for Xerox and Kyocera and Konica Minolta, all those sorts of places, and IBM, Mitel Telephony. So I did all that sort of stuff before moving down here to remote Victoria. And when I came down here, I found that people were kind of looking for that sort of work, like web designers and things like that. So I started doing that sort of work for people. It was on the cheap, whilst I was doing other stuff. So I was doing photography, I was doing web design, and I work on a farm. So you would have seen on most of the stuff that I do, there's tractors involved. You see cows and things like that. Where we are here on our own farm, we have dairy goats. So that's a little bit of looking after here on that sort of stuff on our farm as well. But most of the week you'll find me just down the road working on my neighbour's farm, working with cattle, fixing fences, driving tractors, doing that sort of stuff, and working out what videos I'm going to shoot for you over that weekend. So that's what I do day to day. The last thing I wanted to tell you, or question that people ask me a lot, and when I look through the comments, and when people comment on like this sort of video or other videos, so my day to day usually is I'm a very early riser. It's been that way since army days. These days I get up anywhere between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning, so it's dark still. There's no one else awake, and I'll generally come, have a coffee, sit in front of YouTube for 20 minutes or so, answering all your questions from the night before. And I try and do that every single day, and if I don't, it's usually a catch-up the following day. In those comments and questions that I get on all the other videos, it gives me other video ideas, and that goes on that whiteboard there. And one of the questions that came up a lot, especially towards the end of last year, and a lot of people asked me about this, and I got the app and I went and tested it, and it's called the Cortex app, Cortex. And what it does is it's the closest thing that I think that exists on iOS that replicates in a way what the Pixel does. So the Pixel, where it takes photos, if you haven't seen anything, if you've been living under a rock and for some reason you've just come across this live video, the Pixel astrophotography mode takes a 4-minute exposure if it's dark enough. It'll be longer or shorter depending on how dark it is. And it'll take 16-second exposures, multiples of those, stack them all together, line them up, and gets rid of all the noise. And it takes a fantastic photo for a bloody camera or for a phone. It's amazing. And Cortex app, the app called Cortex, does that. It does it on the iPhone. And it stacks the images just like that, and it lines them up just like that. But it doesn't do it in my experience, it doesn't do it very well. And I think like all the reviewing that I've seen on this app is incredible. People are using this app in low light scenarios, and they're getting fantastic results. But what they're not doing, I think this is the difference. I think what makes this channel different to all those channels is that they're doing things in low light situations, low light environment, whereas I'm doing things in no light environment. There's no light pollution, there's nothing. It's pitch black. I get plenty of ambient light from the stars alone, and that's it. So I think that this Cortex app will work better for people who are living in an area where there's a fair bit of light pollution. I haven't seen anybody do anything yet with the Cortex app for stars. People tell me it works. I've done it. I've got some photos, and to be honest, I could do better handheld with the night mode on the iPhone with 10-second photo. It looks better for me. It looks better. So Cortex app, I'm not ignoring you guys. It absolutely is something that I've tried. It's something that I thought it's not much chop. I have a question for you guys. How many of you are in here at the moment? There's 12 of you in here. 20 minutes. I'm being going for 20 minutes. I don't normally speak this long forever, anything. I have a question for you guys, and that's about competitions, photography competitions. Do any of you, and just put a comment there if you do, or put a comment there if you don't, if you actually enter into photography competitions. whether that's on like social media, whether that's on into magazines or websites or things like that. Like for me as a photographer, I've run exhibitions, I've entered into competitions, I've been printed in magazines and all that sort of stuff. And I'm curious as to whether or not you guys, when you're photographing with your phones, whether you actually enter any of that sort of stuff, or not your phones, doesn't have to be your phones. Do you enter any of the photos you take into competitions? Does anyone do that? I'm asking because I'm doing a video at the moment, and it's all about apps and the apps that I think are worthwhile having on your iPhone for photography. So there's a couple of camera apps in there, there's a couple of editing apps in there, there's a couple of planning apps in there, and there's some other apps that are a little bit left of field that I have found to be fantastic. But I'm curious as to whether or not you guys use them or not. You use competitions as such. Only one of you has mentioned no, not yet. Is it something that you would do though? Okay. Yeah, okay. So some people would do it, I guess. There's no reason not to do it. I think that one of there's a couple of reasons that you shouldn't do it. I shouldn't just say there's no reason. With most competitions that I know of, you lose your right to your photo. Once you submit that photo, if you read through the agreement that you have when you give them the photo to enter into the competition, generally speaking, you'll lose the rights to that photo, and the competition owners or organisers then own that photo, usually. Cool, thanks, Reese. So if you've got the right sort of competition to enter into, I think it's worthwhile doing that. And the right sort of competition, I think, is one that doesn't take the rights to your photo. I've entered photos into competitions, then I've seen them later in newspaper advertisements going, how the hell did you get my photo? And then when I inquire about it, I find out it's because of that competition, and they owned the rights to the photos. Guess who doesn't own the rights to those photos anymore? So I couldn't even use those photos for my own use to make money. So something to be very mindful of. What I don't like is social media competitions, like someone said they're using that's on your own social media, sorry. So a lot of photography Facebook groups run little competitions, and whoever gets the most likes wins the competition. Personally, I think that's just a waste of time. You're not getting any good feedback on your images. So I think the quality of photographers that have contacted me from the Bloody Legends, I think you're all good enough to enter into competitions. What you want, though, is to get good feedback on those competitions. Yeah, I like what you're thinking there, Bruce. It's I can't say too much because I've got something on the go with a company at the moment. But it's an app that I've been using myself just to put my toe in the water to see what it's like. And so far, I've been pretty impressed with it. But it's something that it definitely fits in the niche of this channel. I was curious as to what you guys thought of that. So anyway, I can see there's some people have entered competition, some people have not. Some people thinks maybe you will. So I'll tell you about that in a video that's coming up. I think it's due in. It was going to come out this week, but because this came so much quicker than I thought it was going to come, I'm putting it back a little bit. So you're probably going to see that in about a week and a half, 2 weeks. So it might be 5 Minute Friday. No, it's not a 5 Minute Friday, it's a regular video. But you might see that in 2 weeks. But you'll learn more about that particular thing then. What you're talking about there, me running competitions, I've got to be very mindful of the time that I have to give to you guys. Says the bloke who's been talking now for 25 bloody minutes. So I don't want to go and do something if I can't back it up by providing that service to you. And I've just got to be mindful of that. Like my life is pretty busy. Like working on a farm that's a 12-hour day, and then come home edit videos, go out at night, shoot videos, and then do photography work. Now that that's starting to kick off again after restrictions are easing and stuff, I've got to be mindful of how much time I can dedicate to that sort of thing. I am thinking about running a Patreon group and running a Discord channel. If you don't know what that is, Patreon is something that you would give like $3, $4, $5 a month, and it would give you access to this closed group where we can all discuss things that not necessarily competitions, but it could certainly be used that way, but more about feedback and giving like one-on-one sort of, not one-on-one, but one-on-a-group sort of help. So a lot of people have messaged me on Instagram saying, hey, this photos didn't work this way. Can you tell me why it didn't work this way? Well, a Discord channel is like a private group where you type, put photos, explain what you've done, and I can have a look at that in the morning when I'm up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go through those photos and go, I can see what you've done there. This is what you did wrong. Or this is why it's not working for you. This is an idea that you should try. Does that sort of thing interest you guys? If it does, leave a comment in either here on this video or on any other video, or send me a message or whatever you like. And it's something that I've got to be mindful of, like I said before, how much time these things take up and whether I move away a bit from my photography work if this is starting to pay for that. Because I enjoy doing it, but at the moment, I can't just ring the electric company saying, hey, that bill that you sent me, I enjoy doing this. Is that not good enough? So need to earn some dollars in doing it. So put a comment here if you'd like to see that sort of thing. Email me and let me know. Yeah, I am on Patreon now, but I haven't set anything up. I've only put my toe in the water. I just feel a little bit reluctant to say, hey, give me some money, and not actually give you anything. It doesn't make sense to me because I wouldn't do it. So I was basically just seeing here now if it's something that you would be interested in, because it is a commitment. Like, you don't have to do it forever, but you might say, I'm going to give this guy $3, $4, $5 a month, and I'm going to get this for it. And what I've got to come up with is what is this that you're going to get for that money. It is probably going to be a tiered sort of system. Mate, there's so much more. I know I'm giving you good videos. What I'm talking about here is feedback, not on the individual basis, or certainly on an individual basis. You can put photos on there and say, I'm doing this with this phone. It's not working for me. Can you give me a hand? And you'll find that once that sort of community grows, and I actually belong on a couple of Discord channels with YouTube creators, and it's amazing how much information you get just from each other. And the reason that somebody asked me a little while ago about just make a Facebook group to do this. And the reason I don't want to do that is because I don't control it. Facebook controls it. And somebody might do something in that group and it closes the group down and everyone's screwed. It's lost to everybody. Whereas running it this other way, well, we're in control. And if someone's being a dickhead, well, you just get rid of them. And unfortunately, I've even had to do that on this channel. I've had to turf someone off because they were just, doesn't matter, we won't go there. But if it's something that interests you guys, like I say, leave me a comment and I'll make that happen. Before I go, do you guys have anything that you want to know whilst I'm here? I'll give you 1 minute because I'm up to 28 minutes, 29 minutes. So if anything that you guys want to know, put a comment there now. Otherwise, I'm out of here and I'll see you. Cool. Luke Martin. Where were you, Luke Martin? Your name sounds familiar. Oh, you're over there. Right. Yeah, gotcha. What do you do with your old phone? So the Pixel I'm keeping at the moment because it's just bloody awesome. So I've got to draw out the older phones that I used before I started this channel. Basically, I keep an eye out in town when someone says, hey, my kid's lost his phone. We can't afford a new one. I'll go and grab one of them and give it out. Now, I've done that a couple of times. With the newer stuff that I do, these are still current phones. So I'll do a couple of videos, then I'll sell them on eBay and make some money back. And that's how I try and keep that happening. You think the new phone is a look forward to hearing it. Cool. I'll let you know. I'll let you go. Yeah, Reese, you're probably on the money. But look, I'll let you guys know as soon as it's set up. If you're not on my email list, make sure you are, because that's how I'll let everyone know. I'll let everyone know about it in different YouTube channels occasionally as well. I'll put it in the description of all of it. But if you're on the mailing list there, absolutely, you'll get notified once it's set up. And if there's enough people there, I'll certainly get it set up within the next month or so. It could be. It's a black box, but everything comes in a black box now. Remember IT gadgets used to come in white boxes? Now things come in black boxes. It's like they're copying someone. Anyway, guys, that's it. I'll see you guys Monday with that video. All right, guys. Catch you later.